In this video, we are announcing the release of a new version of PiTrac that requires only one Raspberry Pi 5 computer to build. Until now, PiTrac relied on two Pi 5s, so this new development substantially reduces the cost of building your own DIY PiTrac launch monitor, and getting rid of the second Pi also simplifies building the system generally and setting up the software. Here is a visual walk around of a PiTrac built using only a single computer, and we're going to talk about this version as the video repeats. This single Pi PiTrac is built using the new version 2 of PiTrac's 3D printed enclosure. Version 2 improves the enclosure in a few ways. First, hardware is easier to access now. The cameras and strobe light are easy to get to and adjust. And second, the enclosure can be printed with only a single kilogram spool of 3D printer filament, which is less expensive than the original bulky version 1 enclosure, which is shown in the lower right here. Also, the LED driver is tucked away in the base along with the three-prong power inlet, and of course the entire enclosure is just much smaller than the original. The version shown in this video is a sort of naked PiTrac without its outer case or shell. Instead, the wider shank shield, which is made of polycarbonate, provides most of the protection for the components. Normally, the internals in the back of the PiTrac wouldn't be visible because of that shell, but this is a development version, so it's easier to just keep everything exposed. This new single Pi PiTrac design currently still requires external power adapters for the Raspberry Pi and for the connector board. And those power adapters aren't shown here in this video. The connector board, by the way, is what helps the system quickly switch the strobe light on and off. So that connector board needs power, as does the single Pi. However, when we get to the fully integrated compute board version of PiTrac, and when the compute board design is finished and we're producing that, there will be just a single AC power cord required. Because the compute board will have its own power supplies built in. The compute board will also use smaller Raspberry Pi devices called compute modules instead of the current single board Pi computers. So getting back to the version 2 enclosure, this enclosure was originally designed to be used with that future compute board. As shown here, the board would take up the place where the current Pi and the connector board is. However, there is a variant of that disclosure that we're showing here that was built to work with the original connector board and with single board Pis instead of those Pi compute modules. And most of the folks who are building PiTracs right now are using this variant shown in the video as their enclosure. And I'll just note also that the PiTrac in this video has its LED driver in its base box. However, the compute board will eventually have that driver built in. And instead, what will be in the base of the PiTrac will just be a single 24-volt power supply, and that will be used to power everything else in the system. So thank you for watching our video. If you have any questions, please join our Discord server, and thank you very much for your interest in our project. You can also find out more about PiTrac at our Hackaday project page. You can please subscribe to this YouTube channel for more details and videos. And finally, our GitHub repository, which of course is on GitHub, includes the 3D printed part designs, the software, the hardware designs, all the code, and some initial software documentation. So if you're interested in buying or building your own PiTrac, that's a good place to start. You can also look at our Discord server and our project logs for more information about PiTrac's development history. Links to all of those resources are shown in the comments below. And finally, any help that you could provide at our support page or our project wish list would be appreciated. That'll help us continue this work and complete the development of PiTrac.